before I became an athlete, right? Whatever,
Yeah.
I think I was doing construction. I was a superintendent. Life was okay, you know. Probably my biggest sport was going to the pub and restauranting, and if I was going to run, it was because it was last call. Go!
Out of the
Get that pint out there, fill it up, you know? And I think back then I was still kind of weightlifting or something. Because for guys, especially in construction, weightlifting was, okay, you're doing something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're really not exercising in the real sense. You're getting stronger, but yeah. I've always been intrigued by how, since, I started doing martial arts back in high school. Um, and I got really into it and that whole science of how the body moves. I've always found it so intriguing. Um, and I don't know why. So I quit my construction job, got my personal training stuff going, rented a studio with zero clients, zero business sense of like, oh, how do you even make a flyer? All that stuff. And I said, okay, well, and I did realize, well, if I want to get clients, go to where the clients are. And if you look in the world of back in, what, the '08, even during the recession, the triathlon market was still growing by like big chunks. So it didn't matter. Recession, whatever, it was still
the people that were going to do triathlons.
People were still going to do triathlon. So I started training and I realized, oh, I got to go run this thing. Okay, let's go try it. And,
in the name of prospecting, that's what the hell?
What the hell? I can run just a mile, hell, just a mile. And I remember that first mile was like almost killed me. It was so ego shattering. I came home, like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But, luckily, I don't know, maybe because it was so tied into, the business model, everything else, that I just kept plugging away at it. In the meantime, I'd meet these other people when I'd go out biking, Oh yeah, this other guy on the bike ride taught me about triathlons. I kind of figured out what they were. And I remember him talking about doing these marathons. And I said, a marathon? And I goes, yeah, it's like 26 miles. He goes, I said, boy, that's kind of stupid. Why would you want to spend all day running, because I thought to run 26 miles, it's going to take you all day.
Yeah.
Right? And stuff like that. And, and then he was talking about these things like doing a century ride. Right? And I said, oh, that's a 100-mile ride, isn't it? Yeah.
You can do the math. Awesome.
Yeah, I know. Century ride. I'm trying to be cool about all this stuff, And I said, wow, does that take like a whole week? And he looks at me like, no, you just do it in a day. And I said, really? 100 miles in one day? Yeah. So that's why I started from. It's like all that stuff seemed like so incredible. But yeah, I stuck with it, started training. I studied everything I could, made my training schedules. And eventually, I think within 3 or 4 months, I was doing century rides in a day.
Within 3 months?
I think. I did my first marathon in 6 months.
Okay.
And I think I did my first century ride somewhere before that. So I got to the point now where I would alternate a weekend. Like one weekend I'd go to do a triathlon. Then I'd go do a century ride. Then I'd go do a marathon. And then next weekend I'd go do something else. So it was an amazing switch.
So I'm sitting and I'm visualizing you were the guy that didn't run unless you were running to the bar to grab another beer because it was last call.
Right.
To running and being like, oh shit, like that was a few miles and I'm dying,
Yeah.
to quitting drinking beer and running a century.
Right.
What is that mindset change that happens along the way?
Good question. So part of it I would really have to say part of it has to do with, I would say, your new identity of who am I? Because when I quit drinking beer, I want to be a triathlete.
Yeah.
That's who I wanted to become.
Mm,
Um, and then I realized this no longer fit with that mold.
love this.
Right. Um, Maybe like when you change your sales stuff, hanging out with those guys from your old job who were the scammers to
Yeah.
do this, to do this, to this, they no longer fit. They're nice people, who knows,
Yeah. Whatever.
but
Yeah.
they did not fit in with your style.
Yep.
So therefore, why hang out with them? They're not going to get you any further to where you want to go.